Welcome to Surviving the Side Hustle, the podcast for high performers who've gone all in, but still feeling a little stuck. I'm your host, Rob Tracy, coach, speaker, and creator of the Prime Performance Process. If you're a solopreneur, small business owner, or just launched your side hustle and you're tired of grinding with no momentum, this is for you. Every week, we bring you guests that have broke the code, generated momentum, and finally got unstuck. And we're diving into their stories, their struggles, and their secrets to generating massive momentum in both their personal and professional lives. We don't do fluff here. We do frameworks, real talk, and share the kind of insights that get you unstuck for good. Welcome, and let's get rolling. But before we dive in, I gotta remind you, if you're overwhelmed, spinning your wheels, or just tired of hustling without the results, it's time for a Prime Performance Strategy session. In this free call, we'll zoom out on your life and business, identify the real reason you're feeling stuck, and build a game plan to help you reclaim your confidence, energy, and gain some clarity so you can get back to doing what you set out to do. Lead, grow, and thrive. This isn't surface level coaching. It's a system built on resilience, intentionality, clarity, and alignment. So head over to survivingthesidehustle.com/free call to grab your spot today. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. Let's get going and help you look good, feel good, and do great things. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. I'm super excited because today's guest is Robin Carr, an award-winning motivational speaker, author, and mindset coach who helps people step into positivity, gratitude, and self-empowerment, especially after navigating life's hardest seasons. Robin's journey from the corporate world into full-time speaking and coaching has really taken off rapidly, and her work blends personal storytelling, deep emotional connection, and practical mindset shifts. So Robin, welcome to the show. I'm excited for you to be here.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'm excited to be here too, and you absolutely hit it right on the head. That's exactly what I do and exactly who I'm here to help.
Awesome. And I know in a previous conversation that we had, you had mentioned how the speaking and everything has really became this like giant whirlwind really to start this year, specifically with the speaking engagements, summits, the anthology, and even like a cruise ship event. So congratulations on all this awesome momentum. And I want to ask you, how did this season of your life really kick off?
Yeah, thank you so much. It has been a whirlwind, very unexpected, which is really cool because I love when things just kind of fall into place like that. So I have to give credit where credit is due. So Jesse Cruz and his wife Desiree Cruz hosted a mic competition in New York last October, and that really started everything for me. So I came in second, which is still a winner. That's what they told me. But I was the only one who didn't have professional coaching. I was the only one who took the stage and was like, I'm going to do this. And my natural talent just shined through. And then it just has like really skyrocketed from there, from all the things that you just said to creating my own stages and having a following of people that I thought didn't even know that I existed anymore. It's just been very powerful to see the doors that have opened through the connections that I made on that stage, for sure.
Yeah, I love that too, because I talk pretty frequently about kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping up to the plate for different challenges and being cool with the failure, the connection. There's a lot of lessons that are learned outside of your comfort zone. And I want to kind of bring us back a second before the speaking and the coaching world, because if I remember correctly, you spent years in the corporate world. So I'm curious, what kept you in the corporate world for so long? And then also, if you can, like, what was it that finally pulled you out?
Yeah, so great questions. Security, I guess, comfort is one of the two main things that kept me in the corporate world. And, it was also that mindset of you grow up, you get a job, like this is what you're supposed to do in life. And that was what I kept trying to do. Like I kept trying on different things and I was like, nope, that doesn't fit. And then I tried something else and be like, no, I don't like that either. And I never really felt fulfilled, but at the end of the day, it was a paycheck, it was steady, and it was comfortable for the most part. So those things kept me there. And the reason that I finally bounced out was So I've learned recently that I need to be careful how I say this because in different parts of the world, it means different things. But my positions were actually eliminated. And that happened twice in my career. And so it was like you have to start over and then you have to find a new vein to roll in or, find something else that might work. And when your position is eliminated, and the last one especially hurt for a lot of reasons. So I to tell a very short story just to kind of give you the timeline. So in April of 2024, I had been promoted. I had gotten a raise. I was helping build out this entire team globally. And then in September of 2024, I was laid off. So my position was eliminated. They no longer were investing money into this team, essentially. So long story short, my boss was very awesome at the time, and he was like, "I'm gonna help you do this the best we can, but this is the truth of the matter." So when you go from, and these are real numbers, when you go from over 6 figures a year and being promoted and getting a raise to $0 in like, what's that? 5 months roughly? It really messes with your mind. So I started questioning, like my worth, and all this kind of stuff sent me into a huge depression. And that was kind of the start of my journey.
Yeah, that's gotta be a crazy hit to your identity and everything. Because I know for myself, at least speaking from a personal standpoint, like shifting from strength and conditioning and getting more into personal performance strategy, it was a little bit of a shift, and it was something for me to kind of overcome. And for yourself, what was it like when you were going through that and like pulling yourself out, and then how did you, I guess, step into this speaking and coaching world?
Yeah, so it was rough. Like I said, that depression, this was the deepest depression I'd ever been in. Depression wasn't something that I was super familiar with. I say this in my speeches and it's also in my anthology, but I remember telling the people around me, I don't remember the last time I smiled. And right, that was my face too. And so when I was cognizant enough to actually hear those words, especially to the people around me that love me the most, like that hurts. And I finally was like, okay, like I can't live like this. So I do have a BS in psychology, started going back to my roots and like really diving into, okay, I don't want to be like this. How do I get to even who I used to be, but who I want to be instead? What can I do? And so I started my personal development journey very much solo. I did have support of my friends and family, like, don't mishear me, but I was in a place where they could have given me all of the branches and all the ropes to pull me out, but I had to make that choice myself. And so that's what it was. I started really like journaling for the first time, paying attention to my inner dialogue, pay attention to how much did I complain? How much was I grateful for? I overall positive or negative? And when I really answered those questions truthfully, it felt like a slap in the face because it was like, no, you're not this positive person. Like you're not grateful. Like you complain about everything all day. And so there's a thing in psychology where if you think the word stop, it literally is like your brain coming to a stop sign or a red light. I like the red light analogy better. And then your next thought is that green light, whether you continue down the path you're on or you make a turn. So I started implementing that hardcore and would either think or say out loud, stop. Like if I was, thinking something that was not positive or I was complaining or starting to spiral, I would just think stop. And that allows you to have the opportunity to assess, what can I control in this situation? Is this really me or is this an external factor? And if it's something that I can control, how do I do that? How do I make myself have a different thought about this? And so I started finding the positive things, even in the terrible things. And I read Rhonda Byrne's The Magic. Are you familiar with that book? Okay, so I get no proceeds from anything books and stuff that I share, but that book changed my life because it starts telling you how to be grateful for even the bad things in life. So, like, you get a flat tire, and rather than being like, oh, darn it, this car, now it's, I got a flat tire because it was protecting me, because now I can get safely to my journey, or because I was never meant to go there in the first place, or however it might feel comfortable to you. Those are the things that started to hit home for me. And I started really honing in onto that and to being like, okay, if I wasn't supposed to be in this situation, this is protecting me. And even so, that kind of transitioned me into start to be grateful for my past and for different things that had happened in my life because it was not always sunshine and rainbows. There was some trauma, drama, all the things. And when I started to be grateful for even the negative things in my life, that was an absolute game changer.
That's so crazy that you say that because I catch myself so frequently because I have a super busy schedule as many people do. I've got back-to-back appointments some days and I'm like rushing trying to get across town or whatever. And you know that feeling when you're sort of late or you're anticipating being late, so then you're like anxious to get there and then you just you like of course you get caught behind the person who's driving like 5 miles underneath the speed limit and it just makes you more anxious because you're like come on come on come on come on come on. And when that happens to me, that used to drive me insane. But like the past 6 months or so, I've been catching myself being like, wow, you know what? Maybe this is like the universe or somebody slowing me down. Cause maybe if I was going faster, I would have gotten into a car accident or maybe I would have done something else, X, Y, and Z. So it's crazy that you bring that up. Could you tell me what that book was called again?
Yeah, of course. So it's called The Magic by
Mm,
Rhonda Byrne. So it's a whole series. I can't remember the name of all of them, but it's part of the Secret series. So it's like The Secret, The Magic, and they're all have different things, but The Magic is the one that hits home with me the most. I absolutely love that book. And so essentially what it is a 28-day journal prompt.
hmm
And it's very, very short, very easy read. So I think it's like 5 to 7 pages a day that you read. And then she gives you like journal prompts about things to think about. And another cool one is being grateful. Like all of us are like, oh, thank you. I have food to eat. But how often do we say thank you to the farmers or the fishermen or the truck drivers or, the whoever? That one hit me too because I don't know about you, but talking about being in traffic, like it's always the truck drivers. They used to drive me nuts. And then I was like, thank you. Like you're delivering the package that I need or you're delivering the food that I need to eat or whatever. So they still drive me crazy on the interstate, but I try to be grateful for them anyways.
I love that too. And that reminds me like when I was in college, I was cutting through and it was like a holiday weekend or something. And it was like snowing out and it was terrible. And nobody's on the road. And there's just one like Amazon UPS guy. And he's like the only guy on the road. And I see him like hauling between different places. I just walked by and I remember saying, hey man, I appreciate everything you're doing, helping these packages get out there. Just want to let you know that I care about you and what you're doing. So thank you. And so that's it's crazy that you kind of bring that up there. And so I want to bring this back to your story. So now you're starting to reflect a little bit more. You're got this, I guess, newer or stronger sense of an awareness. Is this when you started to realize that the story and the things that you've been going through wasn't something that you needed to survive, but something that you were meant to kind of share with people?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you asked that. So, how can I best describe this? Throughout my years in the corporate world, like I told you, I never felt fulfilled. There was always this voice inside of me that said that I was meant for something greater. I was supposed to make a difference in the world. And like, I just didn't know what that meant. So, when I got on this journey, I finally like quieted the noise and really started to pay attention. And like you said, to be aware. And everything and every direction of my life kept telling me that I had to share my story. So I started very, very novice minded and it was just like doing reels on Facebook. And it was like whatever life lesson that I had discovered that day or that week and like a 5 minute reel around it. Well, then people started following me and people started being like, hey, this really helped me. Like, you should do more of this, or I want to see more like, this over here. And then it came very, very clear. I remember vividly, and I don't know how you or anyone else feels about dreams, but I remember this dream like it was yesterday. I had a dream of myself standing on a stage in front of a crowd of people, sharing my story and watching people literally shift in the audience, watching the tears, watching the emotions, and not just sharing I don't talk about the actual trauma. I talk about getting over that, but then having just a swarm of people come up to me and be like, you have no idea how much I needed that. And that was like the confirmation for me. That was like, okay, let's stop pretending. Like, this is the thing that's going to make me feel fulfilled. This is my destiny. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And when I consciously woke up and made that decision, it's been like fireworks ever since. Like, I have never in my life felt more fulfilled or aligned or however you want to say those words. I feel like I'm exactly doing what I'm supposed to be doing, serving the people that I'm supposed to serve. And it's only getting bigger. I just actually noticed this morning that since October, my following on Facebook has increased by like 500 people, which is not a lot, but it's also a lot at the same time.
Yeah.
It's cool. And I give the analogy of like a positivity ripple. And that's 1,000% what I am and what I continue to strive to be. Because right now my ripple might be like this big, but very soon it's going to be, bigger and bigger until it's worldwide. And that is, I don't know, there's no greater feeling than that when you feel like you just know and everything seems to just kind of fall into place. But it goes both ways too. Like I originally was like, oh, I don't have 100 clients already. And then it was like, well, I'm not supposed to yet because I wasn't the version of myself that those people needed. And it's just cool how it works. Like it's cool how as we transition, the right people come to us and we're there for the right people. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm always saying how new levels bring on new devils, and you can't get to that next level of success until you've like overcome, or you've set the foundation for that. And when I first start working with somebody, that's always the thing. It's like, oh, I want to get to 20 or 30 clients or whatever it is. And then I'm asking them like, okay, well, could you even handle 10 clients if I were to just hand you 10 clients right now? And they're like, oh, actually, no, I don't even
No.
know what I would do. So I was like, okay, well, let's bring it back there and start with that. But I want to go back to something you were saying earlier because it stuck out to me because it's so true. It's when I first started speaking, I wasn't afraid of speaking. I was afraid of messing up almost because I would create what I wanted to say in my head. And I knew I put the pressure on myself to say it exactly how I envisioned it. And it was hard for me to kind of overcome that because there's parts of me that I'm speaking about losing my dad and some other things. And I want to do that the best that I can. But I was looking at it from a standpoint for myself. And when I shifted into thinking like, okay, what are these lessons and how are they going to help others? That helped me kind of take it away, even though it was still helping me therapeutically, like processing my dad's death and a bunch of other things. So I want to bring it back to you here when you made this shift and you're kind of focusing more on delivering value to everybody, what was that kind of like? And because it's challenging reliving through trauma and difficult times. So when you started bringing more value to your audience, what was that kind of like?
So quick story. So the very first time I spoke was virtually. And like I said, I had no coaching. So I just put it all out there on the line, kind of cried my way through it. But it was transformational in a way. So from that January of 25 all the way to October of 25 and being on stage, I made the decision day one, there was a 2-day competition. So day one was 10 minutes about your professional journey. Day two is 5 minutes about your personal journey. So I did exactly what you had done. I had prepared, I had practiced, I had done everything that I could do. And day one, I got on that stage and delivered a completely different speech. Now, it was a powerful speech. It was awesome, but I messed up my closing line. I messed up a few other places that I knew consciously that I messed up, but it was a great speech. And I had judges coming up to me after day one that was like, that was fire. I don't know who you are, but I loved it. Like, let's do that again tomorrow. And I was like, cool. I have no idea what I just actually said, and I have no idea how to replicate it. So that was my moment. I decided then and there that I know who I am. I know the message that I need to get across. And I just trust that the right words are going to come for the people who need to hear them in that moment and however that's supposed to look like. And it is so cool to me and kind of crazy at the same time. Every time I've spoken since then, it's been the same situation. And I've spoken quite a few times since then. I write a speech. I don't memorize it, but I know exactly what I'm going to say. And then I get up there and things just are different and people love it. And I can't explain the why. Um, it just, something just moves me in the room and it's like, you need to talk about this or you need to hit on this. And my last one that I did, I actually opened it up for conversation because it was like a VIP private setting and the conversations that took place, I don't even know how we got there. And they were so powerful. And people came up to me afterwards. They loved it. And I've decided like that is the best way for me to do things because when you can pivot with the energy in the room and you can just speak to them where they're at and that intuition, like there is no way to prepare for that. And that is something that's just so powerful for me. And people seem to love it because I have people that come to multiple of my speeches and they're like, I don't know what you have for me today, but I need something and you've got the answer, like whatever that is. Um, so yeah, it's very cool.
Yo, what's up? Sorry for interrupting. It's me, Rob. If you've been listening and thinking, man, I just know I'm capable of so much more, but something's just really not clicking, well, I've got something for you. It's called the Prime Performance Personality Quiz. And in just a few minutes, you'll uncover what's actually slowing you down. So, whether it's a mindset block, energy drain, or a lack of clarity, this quiz is going to give you specific insights to help you build momentum again. Again, this quiz is free, fast, and honestly, freakishly accurate. So take it now over at survivingthesidehustle.com/quiz and stop spinning, start winning today. Yeah, I love that too. And I think of speaking much like artwork and how there's a lot of different tools and strategies and ways that you can structure speeches and talks and deliver them as well. And I think the more that you do it, the more you kind of understand your way of doing it and the way that you want to deliver it and kind of how you want to connect better with your audience. And one, I feel like it's the more you do it, the more aligned you get with your audience. And then I think also you get better at stepping into your own way of doing things. So I love that. And the more that you do that, the quicker I feel like the growth kind of happens. And I can see that because it's happening so fast for you, you must be dialing in and getting super aligned. So with the talk of the growth and all these other events and things, I'm curious on how you balance the momentum while still staying grounded. Because I'm speaking for myself here. I know I've gone through seasons where I had multiple events a day. I'm doing all these different things, workshops, and it gets crazy and it's hard to kind of stay grounded, stay focused. So how do you juggle everything going on at once?
Yeah. So another book shout out. Have you ever read The Miracle Morning?
Actually, I haven't read it, but I just listened to a podcast with, I think his name is Elrod, with
Yes.
him guesting on it literally just yesterday. So it's funny.
Okay. So read the book. There's an app. It's amazing. That became my strategy a long time ago. So he has the six, he calls it's SAVERS is his acronym. So it's silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, or journaling. So that's how I stay grounded. I very much I will tell anyone that I am the most selfish person that you will ever meet because it allows me to be selfless. It allows me to love more. It allows me to give more. It allows me to focus more. So when I started this journey and I told my husband, I was like, okay, I want my coffee and then I'm going to go sit by myself for a while. He was like, what do you mean? Like, why? Like, you've never wanted to be by yourself before. Like, and I was like, no, like I need it. And so that's what I do. Like, I am very intentional with my time. That being said, I also, in the most professional, polite way possible, I do not allow BS into my timeline. So if there's drama or if there's whatever, like, I just don't handle, I just step away. And so that allows me to be even more intentional and to really allow myself to focus on my business and to focus on the things that I need to focus on, whatever that day is. And I do block my calendar. Some
Mhm.
people say that you shouldn't do that, but as a person who was in corporate for a long time and used to have meetings from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m., I block my calendar, and that's one of the things that helps me because I can process in between, or if I need to take action, then I can do it quickly. But it also allows me for some downtime, which I think is important because as we grow and as that momentum grows, I have branded myself as the girl next door. That is very much who I am. Like, you need a cup of sugar, come call me because I'll be your cup of sugar. But I have to remain humble and I have to remain that genuine, authentic version of myself and not let the 500 new followers or the whatever get to my head or the fact that I've actually had paid speaking engagements. Like, if I did, then that's not really who I am anymore. And then all of it stops, right?
Yeah, I feel like, or at least it'll slow down. And then I think that's where the friction kind of comes in because then you're not operating out of your authentic self. And then I think that kind of pulls in there. So I've got a kind of like a curveball question for you. So I apologize. But essentially the mindset all changed and shifted when you started getting into speaking and coaching. What do you think the next shift is going to look like for you or require from you?
I love this question, and I love a good curveball, so thank you so much. I'm a baseball fan too. So, being honest, I've been studying a lot about energy, which is something that was not really in my vocabulary before. Um, and I don't know how deep or not you get in on this with your show, but
However you want to.
okay. So, I feel myself stepping into a new identity of the person who is no longer scared. They're no longer like I've actually healed from my past traumas, which is a huge step. I also give the analogy of before I started all of this that my traumas were kind of like I had major surgery and they always like wrap that surgery site and then you can take it off like 3 to 5 days later.
Yeah.
So my version of healing before was just taking off that bandage 5 days after surgery. Well, that's not you're not healed, right? Like like your skin might be closed, but you're not healed. And so I've really taken really big steps and dove really deep into number one, identifying those traumas specifically and the what, the when, and the whys, and then figuring out, okay, how do I actually heal from this? So that being said, this next identity and this next journey or step in my journey is now I'm working on becoming a trauma certified coach because before I was not strong enough to be able to hear someone else talk about similar situations that I had been in without putting myself back in that place. And now I can, and it is incredible to me. Actually, one of my current clients, she did not know this, but she proved this to me in a very cool way. So she and I were just talking, and she started opening up to me about some things, and it went down this path. And before I knew it, I was helping her, and I wasn't tearing up. I wasn't feeling like I was going to be sick. Like it was beautiful. And she's actually started to heal from some of her traumas too. And it's starting on her new life. And when you can step out of those situations and step into who you're supposed to be, and it's just it's not just mindset. I mean, it is mindset, but it's a deeper level than that with things that intense. And so working on that certification and really starting to want to have the deeper conversations because I can help you be positive. I can help you be happy. But helping you heal, that's a different level. So this new identity, that is what I'm being called to do is to help people with those deeper, darker problems that they just want to sweep under a rug and they don't realize the impact that it really has on their day to day. And that's the powerful stuff for me is I don't want to just change you for an hour or when or the next day. I want it to be a life shift.
Yeah, I love that, and that makes perfect sense too because doing a little research, finding out that many of your clients actually describe your coaching as a hug, and that definitely feels good in the time and helpful, and this new level that you're kind of getting into, I can see that it's going to transcend past the hug because you feel that warmth, you feel that care, that support during the hug. But when you're not around, I can see that what you're evolving and coaching is going to do is going to help them continue on feeling strong, supported, and such afterwards as well. So then that healing can continue. And I love that analogy too with the bandage too, because you rip it right off and you're like, oh, it's all healed, but it's just beginning to heal. Like you still got a lot of time there. And I know kind of comparing a lot of different things there, but you're like the bridge between negativity and positivity. And that's how you bring it through. So I'm curious, like, how does your coaching kind of look like? So if someone is interested in working with you, what does it look like when they are working with you?
Yeah, so it's a very personal journey. I will say that all the time. It's a very intimate journey and it's a very personal journey. So I offer one-on-one coaching and that is what most people opt to do. I am starting what's called drop-in coaching. That's something new that I'm doing this year where maybe somebody knows they need a transition, but they're not quite ready for that full commitment of the one-on-one yet. I'm going to host live sessions multiple times a week. You kind of pay as you go. If you want to do one session, great. If you want to do every other day, great. If you want it, whatever you want. So that one's new. It's kind of a group setting, but that is what it looks like. we identify the what. So usually it's one thing very specific that they want to start to heal from, or they're like, hey, I complain every day and I don't know how to stop it. Or I spiral, or I allow my stress and overwhelm to steal my joy. I hear that one a lot. Whatever it is specifically, then we decide a plan. But they have to be ready. This is not an easy journey, and they have to be willing to put in the work. And I know that sounds mean. And everybody's like, "Oh, I just want to be happy. Like, just give me the formula and I'll be happy." But it does require work. And so yeah, so I am the bridge and I do help them. So I have different levels of coaching, and then it's all around the Empower framework, and we decide a plan and then go from there. And people can add on as much time as they feel like they need, or if they're like, "Hey, I love this and I want more," then we can address a different issue or something like that. But it is very much a hand-holding, shoulder to cry on, accountability partner type situation. And anything from, just one-on-one video calls to they can text me and be like, "Hey, this situation's happening right now. Like, how do I shift my mindset?" And those are the really cool moments. I've had a few of those where people text me and they're in the middle of the throes and they're like, "Just give me something right now in this minute." It's usually the word stop, but sometimes it changes.
Nice. I love that. Love that. And so I want to kind of touch on how, so everybody listening is in some way or another, some stage of their journey, their entrepreneurial journey or their personal development kind of journey. And I talk a lot about creating new opportunities. And I teach my luck framework on how to create and unlock new opportunities. And I want to get your take because so many people and professionals, they sit around waiting for people to come to them like, "Oh, I filed for my LLC, so now I have my business. I'm just going to sit back and wait for all my clients to come or the speaking opportunities to come." But during our last conversation, you were sharing about how you weren't that kind of individual and how you're actively creating your own stages and not waiting around. So why is that, or how is that, and why is that so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did wait. I waited for over a year and joined groups that were supposed to help me get on these paid stages and do all this stuff, and nothing ever panned out. And I did not know it is insanely competitive. Like, usually you have to be selected by whoever. I just got tired of it and was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I know I'm awesome and I need to help people, and I can't help people sitting here and doing nothing, which is partially why I started the Facebook Reels, because that was just something at least. But creating my own stages has opened up so many doors and in places that most event holders or other people don't think about. So I live in Biloxi, Mississippi. I am the only one holding mindset anything events in Biloxi, Mississippi. It's just not a focus here. Now, that also means that it's harder to get people to come to my events because they're like, "What is that?" I don't even know what those
Mhm.
words mean, but it provides opportunity and growth for people who would otherwise not have it. And taking it back to my hometown, I grew up in Atlanta. I have an event there in a couple weeks. And so there is not a single person in Atlanta that's going to call me and be like, "Hey, Robin, I saw your Facebook page. Like, I want you here tomorrow." Like, I'm just not there yet, right? I mean, one day I'm sure somebody will, but I'm not going to wait for 4 years for somebody to pick up the phone and call me. Like, just 2 weeks ago, I started emailing the people in the government in Georgia that I knew, people in like different, like the schools and different things that I know. And I'm like, let me come talk to the students. Let me do this. And sometimes you do it for free because, that's what we do. But sometimes it's like I had coffee with a friend of mine, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this. I want you to come and host your event at my business. And I want this because I love what you're doing." That never would have happened if I would have waited for her to call me. Never. I think when you believe in yourself enough and you believe in, like, I need to get this out there, you just find a way to make it happen. I'm going to start doing a lot of virtual stuff in addition to my in person stuff because I love the in person because I can connect and they're just deeper for me. And, there's door prizes and other things too. But like, the virtual gives more people opportunity. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. If I want that ripple to grow, I've got to make it happen. And um, now, if anybody wants to contact me for me to speak or do whatever, absolutely, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also not waiting for their phone call.
Well, that's perfect segue to kind of share where and how do people contact you if they're interested in having you speak or if they're interested in doing some sort of collaboration with you or even coaching too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm on all the socials. It's just the Robin Carr, or my website is thriveunapologetically.com, which I know is a mouthful, but that is the name of my business. Thrive unapologetically.
Oh, I love that. So make sure you guys follow her on all the different platforms and social. Don't be afraid to shoot her a DM. Very, very social, very open for conversations, good, bad, and indifferent, I would imagine, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So make sure you guys follow her. Check out the website, which was thriveunapologetically.com. Got it.
Told you it's a mouthful. Yes.
Yeah, needed some practice saying it. So that's good. Good. Awesome. Well, so Robin, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got a lot of things going on. So I'm really appreciated that we carved out this time. We were able to hop on, have this conversation, share some of your story and your insights, and hear about what's going on and what to kind of look forward to coming up. So thank you again for this. But before I let you go, I also have one final question for you. And I'd like to ask you, you got a lot of things going on, a lot of success, seem super happy now with everything that's going on, working with amazing people. So 5 years down the road from now, when this season is officially behind you, what do you hope that you'll be most proud of?
So 5 years from now, I don't know that it's going to be behind me. I think it's just going to be bigger. But what I'm going to be most proud of is that I did it. I was no longer scared. I listened to my inner voice. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I learned new things about myself, made myself better. I did it. That's the biggest thing for me.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for this great conversation and looking forward to having you back in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. I've enjoyed it.
And that's it for this episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. If you found this valuable, the best way to support the show is to rate and review on Apple or Spotify. It helps get the show in front of more driven individuals just like you, and helps them discover the tools to get unstuck, break through burnout, and build something real. And you can always connect deeper with me, our guests, or grab free resources at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. Whether it's a strategy call, the Prime Performance Personality Quiz, some of our products, or just to check out our free content library. Connect with us over at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. And hey, remember this, you weren't meant to just grind. You were built to grow. So stay conscious, stay committed, and keep showing up. Peace, guys.